For those of you not aware of the situation, Focus on the Family, which is a Christian organization that is a strong anti-abortion group, hired Tim Tebow for a commercial and his mother, where they're basically sitting down having a conversation, and Tim Tebow's mother is talking about how back in 1987 she had a choice whether to abort her baby or not, and the baby she didn't abort turned out to be Tim Tebow himself. And this has caused quite a controversy amongst people who are hearing about the story everywhere. So I'm just kind of responding and giving my opinion on the issue, and I'm mostly responding to the pro-life guy because he said a lot of things in his video that I see brought up a lot in pro-choice versus pro-life debate. And one of the things that he focused on was that the reason why pro-choice people are trying to get this commercial pulled off the air is because pro-choice equals pro-death. He said that they want you to choose death. They want you to abort. And that's really like, I don't know how you can say something like that and with a straight face. Because I think even you on some level know that's a ridiculous statement. Because if we really are pro-death and we want every person to abort their baby, then you're saying that we want to eliminate the human race, which is, of course, ridiculous. On the contrary, we don't stand for pro-death. Pro-choice does not equal pro-death. Pro-choice is just that. We do want you to choose what's best for what you think is right for you and your family at the time. We're not saying abort, abort, abort. We don't tell people what to do. We leave that to you guys. What we do stand for is supporting a woman's right to make that choice whether or not to abort or not. The next thing I want to talk about is it really says something about your organization, like Focus on the Family, if you're resorting to these kind of measures. Corporations like Nike, like Reebok, Gatorade, those types of athletic corporations, they sign professional athletes to sell their products. You should buy these shoes because LeBron James used them. You should drink Gatorade because Michael Jordan drinks it. And that works on that level for what they're trying to sell. But it really says something about your organization and your side of the argument if you're resorting to don't abort your baby because he could be the next Tim Tebow. If that's the argument you're going to go with, you can also look at it the other way and say, hey, your baby could be the next Bundy or the next serial killer or the next serial rapist. It works both ways. So you can't really have an argument like that because it can go both ways and it really doesn't get us anywhere. Regarding the commercial itself, we're not against it because there are too many people watching. You're going to see the truth. People know the truth, and people know that the reason why we want the commercial pulled off the air is, yes, because there are a lot of people seeing it. But for that same reason is the reason why you want to show it during Super Bowl Sunday. For people who don't know, the Super Bowl Sunday is the most expensive commercial you could possibly buy. A commercial for 30 seconds on Super Bowl Sunday can cost anywhere from $2.5 million to $2.8 million. Focus on the Family with this ad happens to be spending $2.5 million. And one reason like I said, we're not against it because there are too many people watching. We're against it because, one, in this commercial, Pam Tebow is talking to Tim about how many years ago she had a choice whether to abort or not to abort. And her doctors advised her to abort because she had certain health risks that could affect her life and could possibly kill her. So that's why her doctors advised her to have an abortion. And she chose to go against that recommendation. And, we're all glad that she did. But she made that choice based on what she thought was right for her and right for her family at the time. And that's a great decision. If you want to choose life, awesome. But everyone has the right to make that decision without any government or major corporation interference. And by Focus on the Family and CBS airing this commercial, they're supporting the message that you should disregard medical recommendations and make that choice yourself to not abort your baby. And I have a real problem with that because they are huge public corporations, especially CBS that has lots and lots of shows that they air, and they're a very public entity. And they're supporting the message of disregard this evidence and choose life. Because if women are going to choose that, they're taking that risk, and other women may not be so lucky as Pam Tebow was. The second reason why I'm against this commercial and why pro-choicers in general are against this issue is because it's a divisive issue, and you're airing it on what's become sort of a de facto national holiday. It's not a holiday like Christmas or Easter or whatever, but for all intents and purposes, it really is a national holiday where people just come together and enjoy each other's company and have a good time. If you think about it, the reason why Super Bowl commercials are so expensive is because so many people watch the Super Bowl. More Americans will watch the Super Bowl than any other single event in the country, which is why the commercials are so expensive, because it's the largest single audience they can air to. People who don't even watch football watch the Super Bowl, or they at least get together in the same place that people watching the Super Bowl. And it's really a time where you can get together with your family and friends, have some good food, drink some beer. Really, it's like Thanksgiving or Christmas or anything like that. And it's a unifying event because though we may be rooting for different teams, maybe we're not rooting for a team at all, we're all there to be there together and enjoy each other's company and forget about the problems in our lives. It's an escape is what it is, where we can forget about the problems going on in our country, the problems going on in Haiti, all the issues that divide us. People who are from different religious backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds, people with all types of differences can come together and enjoy this one event. And they can appreciate the fact that there are other people watching this who are not like them and they're enjoying the same sort of event. And to air one side of an argument or both sides of the argument at all is really to throw in a conflict of division, and it really throws in a monkey wrench into the works of what the Super Bowl really does for us. And one reason why I'm against this is because I consider myself to be an anti-religious person. I see all the time that people of religious backgrounds, they like to get their messages into anything they possibly can. And it really does show that nothing is sacred if you're trying to infiltrate Super Bowl Sunday now. And another reason why I'm against this is because CBS itself has chosen to turn down advertisements from advocacy groups. One recent such occurrence is CBS is in control of the big giant billboard in Times Square in New York. And when they don't have enough ad space, they will offer a hugely discounted price to nonprofit organizations. And last week, they approached the nonprofit organization NORML, which stands for the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. And they were going to offer them a 15-second ad space. And when NORML gave them their ad and said, hey, this is what we want you to air, they're like, they realized, it's for marijuana, so then they pulled the contract. Things like that happen all the time with big productions like CBS and NBC and Fox, where certain groups are not allowed to have their message. And really, to me, it is an issue of free speech. A lot of people are saying you may not agree with Tim Tebow, but you have to support his right to say what he believes. Yeah, he can say what he believes, but with free speech comes responsibility as well. There has to be a sense of propriety when you're using free speech. And it really brings up an issue such as the Westboro Baptist Church. They're a group who, if you haven't heard of them, they like to protest at dead soldiers' funerals. And they first became famous because they protested outside Matthew Shepard's funeral. Matthew Shepard was a gay man back in the 1990s, and he was robbed, beaten, and left to die hanging on a fence simply for the fact because he was gay. And the Westboro Baptist Church showed up at his funeral with signs saying God hates fags and things like that, and basically harassed his grieving family and friends just to get their message across. And it may not be as extreme in this sort of circumstance, but it really is going back to the unity and division issue, where they're taking this event that's made for unity, they see a large audience of people to get their message across to, and they're going to do that. And it really does show a lack of propriety and responsibility with your right to free speech. So those are just a few of the issues that I have, and I really hope that this hype of pro-choice equals pro-death and all these misconceptions of pro-choicers and the issue at hand really don't perpetuate anymore. And Pro-Life Guy, I think you're doing a really bad job of that. If you're going to keep spreading your message on YouTube, you need to get some better arguments. You need to get some better facts straight. All right, that's all I have to say. Be well. Have a good Super Bowl.